Okay, so in today's session, we are going to see how to create channel, how to how to join a peer to the created channel, and then how to deploy the chain code and do the transaction using the command line interface using the CLI. Okay, we have been doing these activities, but we have done this through the Java code. Although I haven't explained you the details of the Java code, that I will be doing in the future sessions, but in today's session we are just going to do all the mentioned activities through the command line interface, right? Because this is also important for you people to know that how to make a transaction using the command line interface, or how to run a query against a in a channel against a ledger to query some data or fetch some detail from the state database or from the ledger. Okay, so we are going to see that in today's session, and it's not very tough, but we have a lot of command that you need to remember. So I have written down all the commands in this document, which I'm going to provide you after the session. Okay, so um, okay, so mm, what I'm going to do is, okay, let me first explain you document composer, Docker composer. Okay, because I mean, we have been using this Docker composer, and I have explained you at least twice during our session that what is the meaning of different variables in this Docker composer file and how it works. In this session, uh, I'm going to explain one more component that I have added in this Docker Composer file, Docker Compose file, which is your CLI. Okay, CLI service or the CLI container. Okay, so this is the container that I will use to run the commands. Okay, that I will be using to run the commands. Command means like command to create the channel, or command to create the channel, command to join the peer to the created channel. Okay, so this is the image that I will be using. Okay, so this is the as you can see here, this is the image that I will use to create the container. Okay, and then this is the go path, uh, 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 and the go is already installed in this image. Okay, and this is the core VM endpoint. This is for the communication between the Docker containers, and this is basically this statement represents your socket, communication socket. Okay, and then this is the logging label set to debug, and the peer ID is CLI, and these are the another two parameters that has been set in the set as an environment variable, but I'm going to override these two environment variables through my command line arguments. Okay, so now when you say, suppose you are running uh, join channel command, right? You are running a command that will allow a peer to join a channel, right? So obviously you have to provide the which peer you want to join the channel. Okay, so this is the environment variable that uh, let your command know that which pair we are talking about here. Okay. Similarly, local MSP ID, right? So this is the command through which your container knows which MSP it need to use. Okay. So, and you can, if you want, you can set these parameters or this environment, this in variables as an environment variable when you are starting your container. And but if you do not want, you don't need to set here. You can just set these variables before running the command. Okay. So I will show you how you can do that. Okay. If you want, you can remove these parameters from here. Okay. And then communication between this container, CLI container, where I will run the command, to the orderer or to the peers. uh, so how that communication need to happen between the CLI and the other components of your Hyperledger network. So whether it need to be TLS secure connection communication between the CLI container and the peer or the orderer, or it just need to be plain communication. So I have set it to false, means I'm not going to use any SSL connection between the peer and the orderer, or the CLI container, between the CLI container and the orderer, or between the CLI container and the peer. So it will be non TLS connection. Okay. And then this is the command that Docker Compose will run to start once the container is started. So this command does nothing. It starts the container and then uh, wait, right? If you do not have this statement here, then your container will start and then immediately it will disappear. Okay. So we want our container to wait for us to log in inside the container and start running the commands. Okay. And then I have explained you how to mount local folders to the Docker in the Docker file system, or container file system, right? So volume uh, command is used for that. And here in the second statement, I am mapping slash home Jayaprakash item master. Okay. So if you remember, item master is the folder. Inside that folder we have a bin folder, and inside this bin folder we have all our artifacts, like your certificates, your Genesis block, and the channel transaction block that we need to to create the channel and to join the peer to the channels. Okay. So this folder contains item master. Bin folder contains all these artifacts that we will be using and that we need to perform our activities. Okay. And one extra thing that I have added in this bin folder is hello world. Inside the hello world source uh, folder, we have our chain code, Go language chain code. And you know that chain code is the Go language program that interacts with your ledger, and this is the program that get deployed on your peer. Okay. And this is your, we call it chain code or the smart contract, whatever you want to say. Okay. It is in the hello world folder. Okay. So I have mapped item folder to this Docker container folder. Okay. OPT, GoPath, SRC, GitHub.com, Hyperledger, Fabric, examples, GoChain, GoChain code, Go. So this is the folder where I have mapped it. Okay. So, and this services depend on the orderer. So this is just dependency. Now, I'm ready to start bring up my network. So I will go here and I will run this command, docker compose up. Okay, so my fabric network with one orderer, two organization, and each organization contain one pair is up, and the CLI container is also up. Now what I have to do is I have to go inside the CLI container. I have to enter in the CLI container to execute those commands. Okay, so to enter inside the Docker container, we use this command. Okay, so now I'm inside the Docker container. Next, now as per this compose file, my map directory, local map directory item master is mapped to the this location. Chain code go. So I will go to this location. Okay. So now I am in go folder. Okay. Inside this, you can see here a bin folder. I will go in bin folder. Right. Let's now here I have all my artifacts that I'm going to use to create the channel or to create to deploy the chain code and all other activities. Okay, so first thing is we have to create the channel. Okay, we have to create the channel, but before we create the channel we have to set some environment variables. Okay, through that environment variables your utilities or your commands know which peer, which MSP need to be used. Okay, so we have to run these three we have to set these three variables. Okay, and again these three variables can also be set in the Docker composer here, right? But there is a special purpose that why I want to show you this procedure. Okay, which I'm going to explain you in a while. Okay, now you know that when you create the channel you need to send the transaction to the orderer, right? But that transaction or that communication need to be signed with the one of the organization's admin user, right? So it means we need the MSP or we need the public and private certificate of your uh, admin user of your um, one of your organization that is part of your channel. Okay, so this is when you set this environment variable, basically your command takes the certificate from this location. So this is how your utilities or command utility know which MSP or which certificate it need to use to sign the transaction that you are going to send to the orderer to create the channel. Okay, and again you if you see this is the path opt go path src fabric example chain code go. So what path it is? This is this path, right? Inside this path I will have a bin folder, right? If you see here, bin, and then crypto config, and this is my orderer MSP, right? That we created through the CryptoGen tool. If you remember, this is a peer organization. This is the uh, first or I mean organization one, first organization, right? And this is the user, admin, and this is the MSP, admin MSP, right? So if you see here, this is the same path, right? After bin, after go, we have a bin folder, right? We have bin folder, then keep to config, because this bin folder has been mapped to the container, right? So inside the container, bin folder will be available under the go directory, correct? So I hope you can understand it, right? It's a very simple thing, right? User and then admin and then MSP, right? See, this is that directory. Okay, first environment variable is set. Second is the core peer address, and then your local MSP ID. And if you see in the Java code, right, uh, create channel. See, we have used the same detail, right? We have used a admin certificates, and we have also used the MSP ID, right? So same thing we have to do here in the command line as well, right? So once environment variables are set, you are good to run this command that will create the channel. Now, in the previous session, I have also explained you to create the channel, we need the channel transaction, right? We need the channel transaction, and we created this channel transaction, if you remember, in previous to previous session, I believe. Okay, using the config tx gen tool, we ran that tool and we created this channel.tx, right? And so peer channel, this is peer is the command that we are going to use. Channel is the one of the option that is available in the with the channel command, right? And then the action is create. Minus o is the after minus o, you have to specify the orderer address, right? This is the address where your peer utility or peer command will send the request. Minus c is the channel name, right? And the minus f is the file name which contains your transaction block. Now this transaction block, sorry, so this transaction block has to need to be signed with the admin user of one of the organization which is going to part of this channel, right? So which certificate will be used to sign this transaction? This MSP will be used, MSP that you have set in the environment variable called core underscore peer underscore local MSP ID, and this certificate configuration will be used, right? And that's it. So now we are good to run this command. Okay, so command ran successfully. That means it has created the channel. Okay, you can see this here. There is one error that says error reading from stream, context cancelled. Okay, so I think channel has been created, but it is okay. So it's just a warning. So something maybe some because of some network issue or something like that. So something did not work properly, but it should not stop us from go ahead and do perform other activities, because warning, just warning. Okay, so for now I'm going to ignore it at least. Okay, so now my channel has been created. So next step will be I have to join my peer. Okay, I have to join my peer to this channel. Okay, to join a peer to a channel, we have this command. Okay, peer, again a command, and because we are dealing with the channel, so it is channel over here. Join is a switch that comes with the channel, and then minus b. Oh, and one important thing I forget to tell you. So when we ran this command, okay, when we ran this command, create channel, this command uh, creates or return a genesis block. Okay, this command return a genesis block. Okay, that need to be used when we run the uh, join peer channel join command. Okay, when you will ask your peer to join the channel, you have to use the genesis block that which was created when you ran the create channel command. Okay, so actually when we run this command, this file was created. Okay, we call this as a genesis block, channel genesis block. Okay, this genesis block was created. Okay, and the name of this file is channel name dot block. This is a standard. Okay, channel name dot block. So name of my channel was hf batch 1. So hf batch 1 dot block. Okay, I can show you here. Let me run this command ls minus ltr. So you can see here, this is the latest file that gets created just now. Okay, like this. Got it? So when you ask your peer to join the channel, and when you will run the join command, you have to use this genesis block. Okay, so we will run this command. So you can see here, your peer 1 has joined the channel. Okay, I'm sorry, organization 1 has joined the channel. Okay, so now what is the next? If you remember, I was running two join channel Java programs, right? And so one program was using MSP, or the admin certificate of one organization to join the channel, and other program was using MSP and the certificate of one of the admin user of second organization to join the channel. So this is important. Okay, so you need uh, to join a channel, right? You have to use the credentials or the certificate of admin user of that organization. Okay, so organization 1 has joined the channel because uh, at the beginning, if you remember, I set the environment variables, and when I set the environment variables, I use the details of our first organization. Right now, if I want my second organization to join the channel, I have to use the detail of the second organization. Okay, so I have to now run this command, right? So this command is basically setting the same environment variables, but this time I will be using the details of the second organization. Okay, so like this. Okay. Okay. Now I can run this command to join the second organization to the channel. Okay. So my second organization now has also joined the channel. Okay. So this is the step that you need to remember. And now you know the reason that why you are doing these steps. So next we have to install the chain code. Okay. So now you know that we have to install the chain code on both nodes, or in both organizations. Okay. So to install the chain code, we have this command that we will be running to install the chain code. Now, okay, let me explain this. You know, peer. So chain code is another option that is available with the peer command. So far we have been using the channel option. Now we are going to use the chain code option. So chain code option has couple of switches, and one of the switches install. So because we want to install the chain code, so we have to use the install. Okay, -1, and this is the name of your chain code. This is name of your chain code, right? So you can write chain code name whatever you want. Okay, -v, this is the version of your chain code. Okay, so when you install the chain code, you provide a version. Next, -p. -p is for the path. Now here's the important thing. By default, okay, this peer command takes the path, okay, takes the path from the go path. Okay, it whatever path we will specify here. Okay, your peer command will consider with respect to uh, go path. Okay, so go path, whatever value is of your go path, this folder whatever you will specify here, it will be searched inside the go path. So say suppose go path, which is a environment variable, and go path is set as c:\test. Okay, and here I have hello world, only hello world, something like this hello world. Okay, so hello world will be searched in c:\test. Okay, so your chain code need to be c:\test/hello world. Inside that hello world, you need to place your smart contract or the chain code. Okay, so the point is, by default, or this peer chain code command search this path inside the go path. Okay, so um, I will leave this as it is, because this is the file that I'm going to provide you, and I want it to be here so that you do not miss this part. Now, so if you look at the CLI container, go path, go environment variable was set to opt go path, right? So I will go here. So this has src. You have to go inside the src. Okay, so by default it will search in go path/src. Sorry, I missed this point. So by default, uh, your path that you will specify in the chain code command, it will be search inside the gopath slash src. Gopath slash src. So gopath is set to slash opt slash gopath, and inside that we have a search folder. So here we have search. Okay, I will create a directory here, mkdir hello world. Okay, hello world. Now I will copy uh, my chain code in this hello world folder. Okay, now my smart contact is in this folder, and I hope you understand that why I have placed chain code inside this folder. Okay, uh, now again I will go here where I was, and now I'm ready to run this command, install chain code command. Okay, so as you can see, your chain code is deployed. Now where this chain code is deployed, this chain code has been deployed on the peer organization 2 peer, right? Why? Because last we set the environment variable to the with the details of organization 2, right? If you remember, we ran these commands, we set these environment variables, right? Next, now because I need to install the same chain code in the organization 1 peer, so I have to run this command again. I have to uh, reset or set my environment variables. So you can run these commands again. Okay, now we are ready to deploy the chain code on the uh, in peer in organization 1 peer. Yeah, so this is the command, right? uh, yes, peer chain code install chain code name version and hello world. Okay, so now my chain code has been installed on first organization peer and the second organization peer. Okay, let's go ahead and instantiate this chain code. Okay, so instantiate or initialize the chain code. Okay, this is the step uh, when your peers where your chain code has been installed will create or will initialize the smart contract or will initialize the chain code. And when I'm saying initialize the chain code, it means they will create a separate container where your chain code will be run. Okay, and init method of your smart contract will be called to initialize the chain code. Okay, so again this is the command that we have to run. So peer is the command, chain code is the option of this peer command, right? Because we are dealing with the chain code, and then the instantiate is option of the chain code, sub option. Okay, so because we are instantiating, last time we used the install because we were installing the chain code. Now we are instantiating or initializing the chain code. Okay, minus o, after minus o you have to provide the uh, orderer address. Okay, minus c, this is the your channel name, right? You have to provide the channel name because you maybe you have deployed this chain code in all 5 organizations, right, in your network, and you have a channel, or you may have multiple channels. Now you have to specify in which channel you want to instantiate your chain code. Okay, next, minus n, this is the chain code name. Okay, so you remember when you were installing the chain code, you provided the you gave a name to the chain code. So whatever name you have used here, you have to use you have to use the same name. Version number has to be same as it was while installing the chain code, minus c, and this is the initialization argument. Okay, this is the argument that will be passed to your uh, um, smart contract or the chain code. Okay, so the first argument is method name, right? Second, and in it invoke both methods. Take in both methods you can pass a method name, and then you can pass an string array. Okay, like in Java, in the main method you can pass string array, right? Similarly, you can pass a string array. So this will become in your string array, this will become the first argument, this will become the second argument, this will be third, and this will be the fourth argument. Okay, then minus p. Now this is your endorsement policy. Okay, this is your endorsement policy. We have discussed about the endorsement policy multiple times, right? This is so we have learned that each chain code is associated with a endorsement policy, right? And when before committing your transaction, which transaction, before committing your endorsed transaction, peer validates or check for the endorsement policy. Okay, it checks your transaction against the endorsement policy, right? In your endorsement policy you defined a good transaction should be from a good transaction from how many endorsers should have endorsed a good transaction. Okay, in your endorsement policy you defined how many signature your transaction need to become a valid or a good transaction. Okay, you have a installation today, right? So you send a document to your manager or your senior manager, right? So each company has a policy or some kind of rule, right? If you are making some if you are making some change in the production, you need at least approval of your manager and your general manager or your uh, architect, right? So that is the endorsement policy. If you want to make a change in the production, your endorsement policies, your architect has to approve it. Your architect has to provide the approval. Your architect has to sign your email, right? So that is the endorsement policy. Same thing over here, right? Minus p, endorsement policy. So this endorsement policy says or, means this is your switch. Okay, or the logical statement, and this logical statement says or, means uh, either org1 msp dot member or org2 dot member. Okay, so your transaction need to be endorsed with, this is your msp id. Okay, do not confuse, this is your msp id. And this in fabric we have two access label. Okay, one is admin, other is member. Okay, so a good transaction need to be endorsed or signed one of your organization, and the member who will endorse it, right, and the person who will endorse it, actually he can be a member, or he can be, I mean, he can be a member only, right? And if it is endorsed by admin, then it's even better, because admin is a member, right? But at least he has to be a member. Okay, so or organization 1 msp dot member, or organization 2 dot member, organization 2 msp dot member. Okay, if I have placed here and, it means your good transaction should be endorsed with organization 1 and organization 2 both. If your uh, um, endorsement, okay, your transaction is signed by both organizations, then only it will consider as valid. But I'm using here or, it means one of these. Okay, so now I'm good to run this instantiate command. Okay, so in instantiate command runs, as you can see here. Okay, so now the best way to check if uh, chain code successfully has been instantiated or not. If you want to check that, you can run this command docker ps to see how many containers are running in your system currently, right? So you can see here, this is the container that is started by your peer to run the chain code, right? You can see here. So if you see this, it means uh, your chain code has been started uh, without any issue. It has been instantiated properly. Okay, so this looks good. Now let's go ahead and uh, make a transaction, or invoke a transaction. Okay, so again, to submit a transaction, right? So if you remember, when I was doing this in the Java code, it was more everything was, or the concept were more visible, right? So we were sending proposal request to one of the peer, and then once we get the proposal transaction request, right? In those response, we were sending that to the orderer, and then orderer was broadcasting to every all other peers, right? Here same thing will happen, but you have to understand few things, right? So here, if you see, I'm giving the address of my orderer, right? And then this is the channel name, this is the chain code name, and this is your parameters or arguments that I want to pass to the smart contract. Hmm. Now this looks good, right? But where is the peer? Now the peer is, or to which peer this transaction will go for the endorsement. It will go to this pair, whatever environment variable, whatever is set in this environment variable. Okay, and your transaction will be endorsed with this um with these certificates, whatever uh, user MSP is set on this configuration in this environment variable. Okay, so currently we have this variable set with the organization one details. Okay, so I will go ahead and run this command. Okay, so chain code invoked successfully. Okay, and the status is 200, which is successful. Okay, so now my ledger should have uh, key as first and the value as hello world. Okay, key as first and the value as hello world. Okay, so to validate that, I'm going to query my chain code or query my ledger. Okay, so again, peer chain code query is the sum command of chain code option. Minus C is your channel name, minus N is your chain code name, minus C again is, and now see, this is a capital C and this is the small c. Okay, so this small c means arguments that will pass to your smart contract. So query first argument is always your method name, and the second is the first argument to your string array. So this is first. Okay, I can go ahead and run this command. Okay, so here you can see query result is hello world. Query result is hello world. Okay, so that's it. So we this is uh, what we have done with our Java programs. Now we did the same thing with the command line interface CLI. Okay, so depending your requirement, you can use one of these method to transact with your Fabric network. So this was important. Okay, now in the next session, or basically from the next session, we are just going to look into the programming part. Okay, how to write the client part in the Java, and then how to write the smart contract or the chain code in the Golang. Okay, we'll look into the details of that. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. Let's meet in the next session. Okay, thank you.